G'day, guys. Welcome to the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. This is the round 11 mailbag episode, which we're filming just after filming the main sort of bulk of the podcast, which has come out earlier today. I'm joined with DR here. How are you, mate?
Very, very good, mate. It's been a while, hasn't it? About 5 minutes. So good to catch up with you again.
All of 5 minutes. That's it, mate. Well, we will crack straight into it because we got some questions to get through very quickly before the dawn of night. And we'll just get started straight away with Kamo. Hope all is well. Few queries today. I have Callahan, McRae, JHF, and to a lesser extent, Tom Lynch. Are any of them worth holding? 23 trades. That's a fair amount. And 1 boost. How many on-field players should we aim to have during the bye rounds? Shea Bolton is the hyper through. All right, we'll start with Callahan, McRae, JHF, Tom Lynch. I think Lynch is a hold, -6 break even going in, so we'll just forget about him straight up. Oh, so he is someone you'd hold. Callahan, McRae, JHF. If you had to hold one of them, probably McRae. Do you agree with that, mate?
Yes, I do, mate.
Then probably look to move on Callahan and JHF for primos with the trades you have and the boost you have there, mate. Good work. How many on-field players should we aim to have during the bye rounds? At least 20 is the goal. I know that it can be a bit difficult with not much bench rookies, but at least because it's spread over 5 rounds, that is good. It means that you can drop off your worst 2 scores sort of thing. It's better than having just 18, or you get into deficit a little bit when you only have 17 playing. Agreed, DR?
Absolutely agreed, mate.
And then I'll leave this one to you, mate. Shea Bolton, hype, real or not?
I'm going to say yes. I'm trading him in. I'm going to say yes. Jump on that roller coaster. It's a cheap ticket compared to someone like the Noah coaster. So we're not spending all out here. I'm going to say yes, but please don't hunt me down when he gives you a 5. Please. You'll get the best and the worst from this, man.
So you're saying you're going to Adventure Park and not Dream World. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Come buy a park type style, mate.
might have to ask Stephen May if he'll give you a water park pass. If you know, you know. Sorry, I just had to say it. All right, Causa, the ladies' man Blackledge. Hey, legends, I have 4K, 1 boost left. What should I do? 5K, really good work, mate. Oh, all right, let's have a look across the lines. Charlie Spargo, that's interesting. All right, let's have a look here. Trainer McRae, no Horn Francis is a big
Nice.
win.
Kennedy's in there. There's a bit of a pod,
Yeah,
which
it's
is
a nice team.
Which is nice.
All right, how much money did he have? 4K. So probably you could look to do a Train and Hewitt. I don't know what that's going to get you. How much is that? Would you do Train and Hewitt to Bolton and Simpson?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. I would. I would absolutely do that. Yep, with it and use some DPP to make it happen. Yep. Yes, I would absolutely do that, mate.
Brilliant. I think that solves it there, mate. I don't think he even needs. He doesn't even need to really. If you're confident with Simpson as an on-field option, you put him in the flex. You put Bolton instead of Hewitt. Gorn and Cherry is a really solid team cause. Well done, mate.
Nice cause.
Oh, all right, Logan. Hey, lads. Hate sending through the whole team. Really stuck for trades this week. Bice goes out for Simpson. Cool. Levi to a Whitfield or Hewitt. Or Hewitt to a Clark, Holmes, Heaney. Holding McRae for now. Low on trades. I'd do Elijah Hewitt to Jordan Clark there, mate. And you can bring in Whitfield next week. It still has a 130 break even, I think.
Read my mind. Yep.
If you had to pick between those 3, Clark, Heaney, then Holmes? Or
that
Holmes
would be my order.
Heaney?
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Holmes. So Clark, Heaney, and Holmes for me in that order.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Hey, lads, moving McRae on. Need a genuine midfield gun. Dawson versus Noah versus Dunks versus Libba. Not that interested in Tom Green. Interesting. Ooh, okay. I would probably have had Tom Green 1 or 2 amongst this mix. That's a tough one.
He's described Dunks there, solid and a good buy. He's described Dawson with the fixtures, and Noah we've talked about a little bit as well. Okay, I'm gonna say no to Libba straight off because of his age and those
probably one concussion away.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I hate to say that, so I'm gonna scrap him out straight away. If it's out of Dawson, you've pretty much described the players. So what floats your boat, mate? Do you want that really high upside with Dawson, maybe that floor, and have a really nice run for the Supercoach finals? I'd probably at this stage, I'm taking my boy Dunks. I'm taking Dunkley here, and I'm hoping to get onto Dawson later on the season, based off the point you made in the pod that he shouldn't be too unattainable.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get him in for that buy. What do you think, mate? Any quick thoughts?
I'd go Dunks,
Yep.
Green, Dawson, Noah. That's the order I'd put it in. It's very tight though. It's not like a definitive sort of thing by any
Nah.
means. No way. Yeah.
Yeah.
H. G'day, lads. Have both JHF and McRae. I just love how some of our followers are you just call them by a certain name, like H sort of thing.
Because we're mates. We're all mates, aren't we?
That's what I mean. Like I called him, we just both called him H, just naturally. G'day, lads. Have both JHF and McRae. Is it ideal to trade JHF and hold McRae till round 14? I think that is the logical thing to do if you can't get rid of both of them. I don't think both need to go, because if you hold one and you can hold rank, like if you get rid of both, then you have to go up in the ranks. If you don't go up in the ranks, it feels almost as if it's been a wasted set of trades. If you can hold one and maintain rank, that's a win. If you can hold both and maintain or improve in the ranks, you're laughing, because people want those two players back in.
Agree. I think it's definitely Horn Francis over McRae, as I've already said. I think if you've got the luxury H, you can afford to get him out, maybe bring him back in a little bit later. But I think it's more than fine to hold McRae as long as you've got some decent cover, brother.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Matty, spend up with McRae out or use him to go value such as Bolton. We discussed this a fair bit in the main potty.
It depends who you don't own as well, doesn't it? So it depends who you don't own, but yeah, I'd be more than happy for Bolton, or more than happy to go with Chad Warner if you've missed him, even though you're paying up a little bit more, Matty, than what you were a couple of weeks ago, which can be a little bit frustrating.
The problem for me is like none of the uber mids, like the ones we have to have, the top three mids in terms of Butters, Bont, Dacos, are at a price where they bottomed out or their value right now. So it feels like McRae as a trading piece isn't going to be worth going up to spend up too much with. Like who are you going to go up from 517k anyway, if that makes sense? It's going to be a Sinclair sort of type.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you raised that, because one thing I didn't even mention in the potty as well is the fact that when I'm looking at my team at the moment, I've got 3 mid slots left, and I've got 3 players that I'm pretty keen on. It's the Bont and Butters, almost as non-negotiables, and the other one I really like is Zach Merritt. The issue is, if you look at their break-evens, they're not ready now. But we do need to trade out the Horn Francis McRae. I'm talking about using some DPP here. That is a very awkward situation, because if we've got particular players that we're keen on, but we feel like we need to trade out these injured primos, we may have to bypass one of them and change our plans. But yeah, a bit of an awkward situation for many, including myself this week.
Awesome. All right. Next question. I'm not going to try to say that name. It may be Xqua, HD.
I'll just go with X.
X. Just goes with X. All right. Thoughts on Rory Laird as a sneaky pod? So this year, mate, lowest score of 58. But other than that, his other lowest score is 89. 1.2% owned across the comp and 1% owned in the top 5%. Is he a worthy consideration for 95k? The other option there's John Noble, who I was going to bring up in the main potty, actually. He's been really awesome for the Suns this year. John Noble is 515k. He has scores in the last 6 games, 100, 116, 106, 102, 106, 116. Are we sort of discounting these kinds of players as options because they don't have name value, perhaps?
Perhaps. I'm shocked to hear his recent scores. He's been making an appearance in the stock market this week, I think. Look, I'm going to be completely honest here, because I hate trying to give advice just for the sake of it. I have not been tracking Rory Laird or John Noble. I really haven't. I think that a player I'm really keen on is someone like a Connor Rozee. So I'll be looking at more of your Rozee type, even wait up for a Naz when he comes down, rather than going for someone like a Rory Laird. But point of difference. The only issue is I don't see huge upside in Rory Laird. My question back to X would be, what upside do you see in the man? I can't see too much myself. I haven't been tracking him too much, though.
Yeah, the other thing with Noble is like with Laird, it's a lone wolf move. So if it pays off, you're laughing. But you could probably get similar output around the same price from a similar type of player. Like I'm not saying, like a
Yes.
Jackson Clare last week was 520Ks, 25K more. You know what you're going to get from him, but at the same time, if he doesn't do too well, you're not going to be left stranded on an island. And it's very similar with Noble as well. I just think you can go strength in numbers and not look for a pod for the sake of it. It's not, I'm not saying that in a malicious sort of way. I'm just saying like there's consistent players like that aren't too much more expensive than Laird. Now, if Laird was 400K with those scores, but he had a poor score because of injury or something, then yeah, for sure.
Jump on. Sure. Yeah.
All right, Ghost. Hey, lads, into the top 1K after a weekly rank of 32. Congrats, mate. Nice. Awesome. Trade plans changed due to McRae. Here's my team. So, Stone to Simpson, McRae to Tom Green, McRae and Lindsay to Bolton and Rao. So, two.
Oh, he's jumping on the roller coaster there. Bolton and Rao as a combo, as a pair. Wow.
Stone and McRae to Simpson and Bolton. Now, I'm just going to bring up something here, and this is why Stone is a dead rook. Patton's a dead rook. Matty Carroll is looking a bit iffy at the moment. Is it possible? Does it make a bit more sense to potentially go Simpson and Green? I think Simpson and Green or Simpson and Bolton for me. One of those last two options. Holds Lindsay as well is a good cash generating rookie at the moment.
I'd agree. I'd take out the middle one because I just think that's a little bit too risky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind either, 1 or 3.
Yeah. If you had to pick one, Green or Bolton, I'd go Green.
I'm going to go value in Bolton. I'll go value in Bolton.
Interesting.
I'll go the devil's advocate.
I don't think we solved anything, mate, but I think the question is, prioritize cash gen, keepers, or any upgrade. I think you've got to prioritize cash gen and keepers together, which in a way is what Bolton could do.
That's what I'm hoping
he's definitely
going to do.
So it's like he can make money and potentially be a keeper. By no means he's guaranteed to be a keeper, but he could. That team is really solid, mate. Keep it up.
Nice, mate.
And also, very quickly, Stone out to Simpson gives you a bit of cash gen on that bench, as well as a bit of cover, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Mikhail, thinking McRae, Hewitt, Cleary to Whitfield and Simpson for now. Tossing up between another on-field option. Judging by the team, what would you recommend? Oh, how much money do you have? Jeez, without doing a bit of mental maths, it's going to be a bit difficult. Any big sort of value options he's missing? No Petrarca, but he's not exactly value at the moment. A Sarong type, possibly. I wouldn't mind Sarong if you can get there, but I don't know what the cash, possibly. The other option there is holding out on Trainer, Pry, and Levi as Butters will shot straight in. Yeah, look, Mikhail, I think whoever you can go, have a look at the first potty and see what option that we ranked best fits that price range, if that makes sense, mate.
Yeah.
Sounds good, legend.
Thanks, mate.
Ashton, hey, lads, which trades would you do? Anderson can be a Dunkley or Libba. Price play as well as already have Dawson and Tom Green. Already has Dawson and Tom Green. Awesome. So Anderson or Bolton? So for Anderson, you need to trade out Ashcroft. For that reason, mate, I don't know. Levi has that high breaking, but he's just one of those players where he could spike. He could spike again. Whereas I'm not so sold on Hewitt or Cleary.
What I like about Levi is that he's already proven to us that he can give us some pretty decent scores for a rookie, and he's got the last buy with DPP and fantastic job security. So even though he may lose even a little bit of money in the short term, I think by the time he gets to his buy, he should be priced around something similar, even if he goes down for a little bit, up a little bit. So I would be going the right trade. But please, 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 I've been talking so much Bolton. There is so much risk attached with this as well. I'm just looking for that pick, as Janice just said, that potential to be a keeper, but also that quick quick cash grab to then even potentially use him to get to someone else.
Awesome. All right, Carrots, is getting Brayshaw now too late? Or is banking some cash and going Ports, Ruck, and then waiting another week and trying going Butters, Bond / Dale, etc. any better? Brayshaw, I think, will come down a bit of money. He has a break even of 125 this high. He's got the 157 as well. 149 break even next week, but it always depends because when Andy sort of becomes attainable, like we haven't had the issue because we've been season-long holders, but as soon as he has that poor score, he backs it up with a 150. Like if we have a look, mate, if we go back 2 weeks from this week, 150. 2 weeks before that, 157. 2 weeks before that, 155. So
Crazy.
this week, that means 150, right?
You'd think so.
But look, it's not a bad buy. Let's say if we have a look at the team, day cost is there, so you don't need to make the day cost upgrade next week.
Oh, that was going to be my potential. I was going to throw in. You just go a bit earlier on a day cost against North, high break even, but
it's an interesting team. Those midfielders, or you just don't know what you're going to get on a given week. Merritt, Neil, Dacos, Dawson, Sarong. It could. It's like the trick or treat right there.
Yeah.
Look, I don't mind bringing in Brayshaw as sort of that play you can rely on. What do you think?
Yeah, I would always be looking for a bit more value. I think
There's
at
value,
the moment,
yeah.
But you are paying for quality, so you know what you're getting if you're prepared to pay that much.
Awesome. Jaded, 20 trades before trades and 1 boost left. Has JHA from McRae, doesn't have Simpson. Do a boost to get rid of both of them and bring Simpson to us, save the boost and only get rid of one and use another trade to get Simpson bank 100k.
Oh.
Look, I feel like this is a scenario that a lot of coaches are going through. I think I'm only getting rid of one of them, even though I have a boost. It just depends on how you value the cash gen component for the rookies. Because if a Max Hall has a 60 break even this week, he scores 60, he's not going to lose any money. But long term, how beneficial is it to have a Hall compared to a Jack McRae? I think if you crunch the numbers on how your buyers are looking and you're looking okay across the buyers, you could well and truly hold McRae for the next couple of weeks. But if you're struggling to get numbers, especially in the first buy, then Max Hall playing, for instance, this is just a hypothetical scenario, could be really, really important. So just count your numbers and then figure it out from there, mate. That's what my advice would be.
Yeah, I'd actually lean more towards boost here. Yeah, obviously needs to look at these numbers, but
and get rid of one.
I just think you get everything. I think you get rid of both. So you get rid of
both.
Horn, Francis, McRae, boost, get a Simpson. That way you've got rid of your 2 primos. You're going to be out for 3-4 weeks, whatever it's going to be, and you've also got that rookie in as well. So I feel like you're doing everything that you need to do. But in saying that, I would be more than happy to hold on to McRae.
I see. This is where I think like across the potty and this as well, I think that's where our mentalities are slightly different around these players. Because for me, I know that I want McRae back. And if it's 3 weeks of which 2 of them are best 18, then I don't see that as a reason to trade McRae if I can get the buyers to work out. Whereas I think where you're coming from, mate, is because it's 3 to 4 weeks, you just get rid of them anyway. And you can make up the points short term.
Yeah.
But to get rid of McRae and to bring him back in, that's 2 trades that you have to lock in there because McRae is the type of player. He's not a speculative premium in the forward line. He's a player we want to have in. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, and completely understand. Even, we've got Marix and Daniel still there.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen with them? I think there are some. I don't think it's going to be tough to bring Jack McRae back in. I don't think. Ideally, don't be wasting trade after trade after trade. Yeah. But I think it's going to be relatively easy slotting him back in if we want to do that. But yeah, there's almost no right or wrong sometimes, is there, with these questions?
Time will tell. James, thoughts on these trades with the money in the bank, and we'll be able to get Dacos and Kitty next week in 2 trades. Awesome. All right. Whitfield, Bolton, Simpson for Kako, Horn, Francis, McRae. I have a feeling you're going to say yes.
I really like it. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, Janath.
Why is that?
He's getting everything done here. He's getting the Uber Primo in
Yeah.
He's getting that roller coaster pick, the high risk, high reward, and he's getting his rookie in.
Yeah.
He's doing all his business here, Jimmy. Doing all his business here. I'm giving that one the thumbs up. I'm guessing you might be slightly different.
No, well, look, I'm just having a look here. There's a 70k difference between Horn Francis and Bolton, but the average differs by 3. And now you may be saying, well, Horn Francis is a 22 in his average. Of course, his average is going to be that. Well, Bolton has a 5 in his average. If he didn't have the 5 in there, what would that be? So you could almost consider it a like for like. Bolton probably has a higher ceiling, but he has a lower floor. Very, very interesting. I think I'm still on the fence. It probably will peter out over the next couple of days. But like DR saying, I think you nail everything in this trade. You get the Uber premium, you get the fallen premium that has cash generating ability, and you have the cash generator for sure. Daniel, what's this? Another Daniel on it. G'day, lads. Settled on McRae and Hewitt to Whitfield and Simpson. Lock it in. 240k. Is it worth boosting Levi to a primo like Anderson or Heaney? Or should we hold him as he'll be handy as buy cover?
I would be holding him as buy cover.
Could you go Levi to Tom Green and get the best of both worlds? Because Tom Green shares the same buy with Levi. And so a player like that, possibly like a Brizzy Boy or
and Nick Martin. And
Nick
Nicky Martin with
like a player that can,
DPP.
you're going to want in your team. Possibly that's the way I'd be considering there, Daniel. But no wrong answers here, mate. You could even settle at 2 trades, and I think you'll be fine long run.
Yep.
Awesome. Big fella Supercoach. Hey, gents, struggling this week. 330k in the bank from last week.
Bugger.
Those trades leave me 330 again for next week. All right. Very, very similar trade structure to what we saw before, except Dawson as the one in, not Bolton this time. Do we tick it off?
Yep. My question back to you, mate. How have you still got Foss in your side? Finn O'Sullivan. Gee, you've been slow burning that one, mate.
He's got 826 in the world.
Congratulations, man.
Well
Congratulations.
Done,
That's awesome. Good on you.
Oh, geez.
Again, you see the Sherry Gorn combo there. It's so common with these higher ranked sides.
Oh, it just makes you think, mate. It just makes you think. How about the ones that traded out Gorn early doors?
Oh, jeez. They won't want to hear that, Janath.
Hey, lads, have JHF and McRae. 2-option thinking is either going McRae to Nando, Noah Anderson, or Hewitt to Bolton. Second one allows me to keep McRae and use Bolton as a flex or M9 F7. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. Hewitt to Bolton. You can get that premium in and keep McRae. I think that's a thing that a lot of coaches don't have the luxury of doing. Yeah.
And compare their break evens between Bolton and Hewitt. You'd think it'd be the other way around, the way they're priced. So, yeah, absolutely. I like that. And thinking about future trades as well is always good there, AJ. So, well done, mate.
Awesome, mate. Rob, hey, lads, look and bring in 1 or 2 of these guys, which will leave me 2 mid spots left for Bolton Butters. I think a lot of people are in that boat. If you could rank first and second option for each of you. Anderson, Green, Libba, Heaney, Dunkley. I feel like we did this recently. But let's do it again.
Much. Yeah.
I said Dunks, Green, Anderson, Heaney, Libba.
With you. Yep. With you.
Beauty. Awesome. Great minds think alike. Clayton. Hey, boys. What is the absolute highest you are willing to pay this season with Bolton Butters? Oh, Bont. 625? Maybe, yeah. He's 665 at the moment. Maybe 635.
I was thinking 635 is my absolute max.
The thing we've got to consider is these prices, when we think that 600k this year is probably like 610k last year, given we have that extra position, all the prices went down a little bit. So Bont's lowest price last year was 614k. So he the problem with him though is when he drops a low score, he backs up with a 140 and everything just goes kaput.
That's the issue. He just doesn't put 2 bad games in a row, does he?
But let's say that, and then for Butters, we could
Oof.
get him at 5. What is it? Let's say
80?
570, 570, 580.
Yeah.
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 I'd be more than that. 600 for Butters is an absolute bargain even. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Good question, man.
For sure. Jared, for those in the fringes of the top 1%, who are the top 5 pods to help us go up the ranks? Well, Johnny Noble was one mentioned earlier. He looks like a flyer. Lockie Ash, definitely, as sort of that. He never gets tag or attention because Whitfield gets it if they do go that way.
They're the two. I like Clug as a midfielder out of Clug, Tuke, and Hewitt. I like Lockie Ash as your defensive options. So I like Clug and Ash out of those options if I was to give my top 2.
Oh, that's tough.
You different?
In terms of the top 1%, Ed Richards, he's expensive, but he's just class. He's class. I'll give you one. If there's a player that can get on a hot streak, Luke Davies Uniac.
Your boy from
509K.
last year. Yeah.
If you can get on a run, watch out. Watch out. And
Cheap too.
even with the Bont, he's owned by 9% of the top 1%. He is the pod.
Jeez. Bont is a pod.
But not this week. Amazing. Not this week.
Yeah.
Not this week.
Yeah.
Post buy. But yes, 1 through 5. Oh, I don't know, 1 through 5. There's a lot of names there. But if we'd have ranked the ones you've listed there.
Yep.
Oof.
I'm going
Ash.
Clug. Oh, sorry.
Clug.
Do you want to go?
No, you go, mate. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say Clug, Ash, Martin, Tuke, Hewitt, Amon.
Yeah. The only ones I would swap are Tuke and Hewitt. I think Hewitt, second banana, Tuke, third banana.
That was a 50-50 for me too, mate. Yeah.
Awesome. Torn between getting in Nakos or Sarong this week. Sarong, seriously cheap for what he's done in the past. Dacos, seemingly carrying an injury. Could go for a pod pick like Green, Heaney, or Liver. You're in the same position as me, mate. I think Sarong is a very good buy this week. Dacos could be a good buy, but he's got that 160 break even. It just depends how high you think he'll go against North Melbourne. And then the pod picks, Green, Heaney, Liver. I actually have Green ranked higher than Sarong. Green, Sarong, and then Dacos, Heaney, Liver. If I was to rank those 5.
Yeah, only one I'd change. I'd almost take the punt on going Dacos as my number 2 option there against North Melbourne.
Yeah.
Think he might be.
You'd have Tom Green 1?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, awesome. Oh, this looks a bit weird. The numbers all look smaller. Love your work, lads. Good luck in the granny this week, DR.
Thank you, cool as man.
JHF to Dogger. Cool as man's not the guy you're playing this week, right? You're not going to
No. The wonderful man that I am playing messaged me in between when we were finishing recording the potty and this one. So I may break the news maybe in a different video, I think. But yeah, he's a great man. He's golden era.
Sounds good. Wondering if I should go JHF to Dogger. Structurally makes sense when Flint's sanity is eventually dropped. But at risk for obvious reasons. Now, Flynn at R2. Very bold move there. I think for that reason, Dogger makes sense. And I think perhaps we are discounting that component. If you don't have... Well, the thing is, if you don't have sort of a ruck forward R3, is there any point in having Dogger anyway? Like, how can you get him...
That was going to be my point. If you see Sims here or...
cover anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, if you had that DPP, I'd be much keener. That way you got a lot more flexibility there. But no, look, I'm just not a fan of bringing in Dogger with the fact that Darcy could be back at any time.
Yeah.
So it's just, but he's the second highest averaging forward. So
that's crazy.
Don't listen to me.
That's crazy. All right, we're almost done here. Hey, lads, need to trade out of JHF this week. Every single one of these questions, isn't it? It's just how Supercoach works. So if Horn, Francis, and McRae weren't injured this week, would we have no questions?
Oh, no, that would have been it, mate. Just done and dusted.
Would you prefer to get Dacos in a week early or get Chad? Feels a bit steep, pay 540 for Chad, but Dacos having his 160 break even also puts me off slightly. I think if you're picking between these two, I'd go Dacos first.
Yeah, I would. The only other thing I'll say is it feels like a bit 540 is a bit steep. I think that was because he was available at such a bargain price. But yeah, I would go Dacos too, but I think Warner's fine in saying that.
Remember last year we were sort of thinking about Warner at 610. Like that's how high of an esteem he has in the game.
Yeah, that was around like the Dunkley, Lockie Neal, LDU
that
discussion? Yeah, I remember that.
I think he
yeah.
just come off a 150, 172. Like
Yeah, he did too. He did too. Yeah.
Bryden, McCrader, Clark, or Bolton is my conundrum this week. Would love to hear your thoughts. All right, I think this is the perfect litmus test for what type of super coach you are. If they had a BuzzFeed sort of quiz, and you are either a Jordan Clark type of super coacher, sort of the hardworking citizen that comes home and is like, I just want to have a rest and not stress out at all about Supercoach. That's Jordan Clark. If you're the other hardworking type of citizen that comes home and is like, look, I don't mind having a couple of beers and just sitting back and embracing the roller coaster that is Shea Bolton, that's the type of pick there. So I think, Bryden, I don't think we can advise you one way or the other. This totally comes down to the type of super coach you are. Do you agree?
You've said it perfectly. Mate. Yep, it's like, is your type of fun sitting back and reading a book with a nice coffee, or jumping out of a plane? what sort of person are you?
Geez, I will say I don't know many people that have fun jumping out of a plane, but look, it's not. I will say the pick is not for the faint-hearted at all. Yes. That Bolton pick.
Yeah.
All right, Sammy Roberts. Hey guys, hope all your weekends went well. Better week with 2-4-8-3. Huge score, mate.
Nice, man.
That's a better week. That's a grand week.
Yeah.
Just was wondering if you'd tick these couple of trades. Whitfield and Liam O'Connell in, Trainer and Ashcroft out. Now I'm interested. Has he already got Simpson? Yes, he's already got Simpson. Would leave $500 and 15 trades left. Lindsay and Hawley, LOC rooks left to upgrade. So he's got 2 rookies left to upgrade, plus Matt Flynn if you count him as a rookie there.
I think the most interesting thing. Yeah. I think the most interesting thing to this question is the last bit there. Thinking of tanking flex for cash. Is that going to be like a season-long thing where he's prepared to try to upgrade to the best players around and maybe not get that extra premium, like fill it with your Gorns, Bonts, Butters type and not get that extra premium in the flex? Or is it think about just tanking a flex for this week?
That is so interesting. Thinking of tanking flex for cash, it almost makes me think that it is for the year. But then he's got Rowan Marshall, so is the plan not to get Gorn in? Interesting one there, Sammy. If you can leave a comment below this, just so we can sort of get an insight into your thought process, that would be great, mate. All right, Jordan. Rank Sarong, Rosie, and Anderson as trade-in options. Rosie's an interesting one. I'd almost have him at 3 for this week, but if he asked me after the bye, he would come to 1, if that makes sense. So Sarong, Anderson, Rosie, just because of the bye next week, it feels bad bringing the bye.
Exactly the same as me, mate. Exactly. If you ask me in isolation, who would you rather? It's Rosie, but not this week. Sarong. No, Anderson. Sorry, Anderson. I'm feeling a little bit riskier this week, Janath. I don't know if it's just the Bolton vibes that are in me.
This is the voice of a man that's 1.3 or so 1K richer. 1K richer this week. He's just like, stuff it. I'm very happy with all this.
Mentally, maybe that's
freewheeling. You're freewheeling now.
I feel like I almost am, mate. Just a bit of freedom now. Shackles are off.
Awesome. All right, Marty, what is the worst road in Melbourne, please? Jeez. Oh, my goodness.
It is called Donnybrook Road because there is a one single lane bridge that goes over it. And as I'm trying to get home from work each night, need to do a bit of a dodgy down the bus lane. If it wasn't for that bus lane doing the dodge down there, I would be in big trouble just trying to get home in a decent time. So I believe it is Donnybrook Road. Cannot stand it.
Now, I don't know exactly where it is, but there is a roundabout. It's in the eastern suburbs somewhere. It is a roundabout into an intersection, which is the most confusing thing ever. It's not poor road quality or anything like that. It's just confusing. Dead set. The other road, this isn't in Melbourne, but I just want to talk about what is it? The park. There's a strip in Paris, and I kid you not, the amount of traffic accidents. So, backstory here: when I went to Paris last year, it is. Oh, I will get this straight. Paris. Jeez, this is famous street. This. Oh, here we go. It's called the Avenue des Champs-Élysées. And so what it is overlooking sort of the Eiffel Tower and like this thing. And it's that bad that if you crash in that intersection, insurance doesn't cover it. So insurance covers any accident anywhere else.
What?
But if you crash in that intersection, this is what our tour guide said, is you can crash in that intersection, but insurance won't cover it.
You are joking. All right, now that is absolutely bad. Have you seen those shows? I forget what it's called, but they're the big buses and trucks that are driving on the side of cliffs, and you can see the rocks falling down. It's like most dangerous roads in the world, or something similar to that. Last thing I'll say on this one is that very, very local to me, heaps of potholes. Someone, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, put a big plant in there, like planted a tree in this pothole. And it was an absolute ripper, blocked the road and actually forced them to finally do something about it. So, yeah, shout out to that legend who planted the tree in the pothole.
All right. Little Rocket Man. Hi, lads. My first post. You guys have the best content, hands down. This is the type of positive comments we are after. Thank you, mate. My team was feeling a little sick last round. Sick with leather poisoning after a big score of 25-87.
Oh, he got me. I didn't read on. He got me. I was thinking this is going to be a sob story.
Thanks to your oracle-like advice. Thoughts on Flynn to Vicentini and Callahan to Bont this week? I don't recommend this. Ooh. Flynn has a 44 break even. Bont has the bye next week. It's like, if you told me this in 2 weeks and these exact same trades, yes, Vicentini also has the bye next week. Like, how good are you on that bye?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Rocket. Check your buy structure. I wouldn't actually go with that this week myself. I think that Flynn at the moment is a pretty decent hold for the short term anyway. Look, Vicentini could be an okay selection. I just don't like trading Flynn out, and I don't like the Bont this week. Eventually, mate, I like the Bont, but I think we've discussed a number of other midfield options that you could look at just to chuck in there before the Bont comes in.
Yeah. Awesome. And we'll finish up with Jet's question here. Hey, lads, thoughts on the below trade plans for the next 4 weeks? Most likely to change. All right, before looking at it, let's see if these align with what we're thinking. Week 11, McRae and Matty Carroll to Whitfield and Simpson. Yep, like that. Week 12, Ashcroft and Cleary to Merritt and a rookie. Merritt may have some money to drop, but
yeah,
okay, decent enough.
Yeah.
If you've got Dacos, I feel like this team has to have Dacos. Jets team.
If not, that's the switch you make, isn't it? Yeah.
Reed and Lindsay to Bont and a rookie. Yep, sounds fair enough. That would be a huge move to pull off.
Massive.
Going from Sack Reed, yeah. And then Flynn and a 200k rookie to Butters and a rookie. Yeah, well, that sounds awesome.
14 should be the round to get him because you've got 11 this week, has a bye, one more, then that bad score's out of the system.
Well,
maybe he might get another bad score in the system.
Toby Bedford, straight off the bye. Yeah. We'll see. But that could change a lot of things in the way that we approach it, for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
All I'll say
looks good, Jet. Love good planning. That's the main thing.
that's a message I was going to give to everyone else in the community. Just like what Jet's done there. Sorry, plan your stuff out. Get your piece of paper. Write down what you think your ideal team could look like. So basically, quickly, what I do, I've basically written down all my premiums in my little boxes. Then I've got some blank boxes with a different color with the ideal targets. So there's 3 midfield spots left. I've currently got Zeret, Butters, and Bont sitting there as names, but Zeret's probably the name I'm willing to negotiate. The other 2 I'm not. So yeah, I think that's some good advice to everyone. Visualize what your ideal final team is going to look like and how you're actually going to get there, just like Jetty Boy's done just then.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, mate, great work tonight. Almost 2 hours, over 2 hours of recording there. We got there. So that's the mailbag for round 11 this year. A lot of Jason Horn-Francis and Jack McRae based questions. But do you have any advice you want to finish off before we wrap this one up?
Now, look, sometimes there is no right or wrong answer. It depends what your team's looking like, and it depends what type of a coach you are. And I say this with the greatest love, the absolute greatest of love. But are you a nut like Jules, Crazy Frogs, and you'll just go for a pod here and there? You don't care what the rest of the crowd's doing, and you're an absolute lone wolf. I love you, Jules, and I say that with, as I said, absolute love, mate, because I really respect you play the way the game. Same as Abs as well. Abs does not care what anyone else is doing, and he'll live and die by his own sword, whether it goes really well or really bad. That's just the way he plays. You could be that type of coach that's more just sip your coffee with your paper in the backyard rather than going on the roller coaster ride, which is more of your Janath. That is normally me, but I don't know, I'm getting a little bit excited this week. I'm thinking theme parks. I'm thinking potential Queensland holiday. I'm losing it, I think. But
You've already got the holiday, mate. You can chill out a bit.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should just go with a coffee pick this week and get a Tom Green or a Jordan Clark. But look, either way you go, guys, know that there are always risks. There are always rewards, and hindsight is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So don't beat yourself down. If you make a bad trade or two, you look at every past winner. They've made a couple of dodgy ones. I absolutely guarantee you that. So good luck this week, guys. Much love. And thank you, as always, for all the comments. It was a bit of a shorter one this week, but we do really appreciate the love. There was a couple of really lovely comments here about the content that we produce. We do work pretty hard, or try to work hard, to provide the best content for you. But I know it's safe to say, brother, that we get a lot out of it due to our friendship and the friendship that we're making with all these wonderful people in the community. Plenty of great men and ladies out there, mate.
Exactly, mate. Sounds good. Well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck this week.
Cheers, guys.